Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining today. I hope you can see and hear us okay. We are here with Dr. Angela Murillo from the Luddy School of Informatics, Computing, and Engineering here at Indiana University, Indianapolis, formerly known as IUPUI. I am Erica Alexander, the Assistant Director of International Admissions here, and I will be handing it over to Dr. Murillo for the presentation on Node Data Science. You will be receiving a certificate of completion after this, so be sure to check your email for that. But at this time, welcome, Dr. Murillo.
Thanks so much, Erica. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Angela Murillo. I am an assistant professor at the School of Informatics, Computing and Engineering here in Indianapolis, and welcome everyone to this presentation this morning called Node Data Science. So a little bit about me before we get started. I've been with the School of Informatics, Computing and Engineering for the last 6 years, and before coming here, I worked at a biotech company in Copenhagen, Denmark, in research and development, where I mainly worked on data analysis related to the development of sustainable products. So I've always loved the intersection of science and technology and exploring new technologies and techniques to working with data. And during my undergraduate program, I focused mostly on chemistry and climate change science, which is how I started working with creating and analyzing data and using data to understand and solve real world problems. So I have mostly worked with data from a scientific data perspective, including ecology, biology, and astronomical data. And I've also explored ways we can manage very large data sets, as well as the cyber infrastructure technologies needed to manage very large data. Given that, I've worked in several settings, including academia, scientific laboratories, and industries, and nearly always working, again, at the intersection of science and technology. What I love about working with data is that you can be both creative and analytical, and I hope that this presentation can show that there's definitely a creative side to working with data. And along with working with data, I also really enjoy teaching online because I love that we can reach more students. So, just like how we're able to reach each other and talk to each other today, and this is one of the reasons why I really enjoy that we have these great online technologies now that we can actually reach more people. So thanks again for being here today, and we'll get started. So to give you an idea of what I'm going to talk about today is I'll start with an introduction about why data is important and why you should consider working with data. And then I'll discuss what is data science and the major domains that data science pulls from. Next, I'll discuss the skill sets needed to work with data, as there are many, and it's far more complex than simply analyzing data. And at the end of this presentation, I'll discuss the various data science programs available at Luddy, Indianapolis, so that you consider joining these and you can consider these for your future endeavors. So to get started, for the next few slides, we'll be spending some time considering why data has become so important in recent years and why data is so critical to our society. To start, regarding why data has become so important, we need to consider how data is being generated at a massive scale by companies, organizations, and frankly, all of us. And this increase in data production and consumption has increased attention to how organizations and people use this data. Additionally, due to this increase in data generation and use, data work has become essential to companies and organizations, and therefore data-related careers are growing quickly and in very high demand. Since data work is needed, and sorry, you might be seeing a cat, since data work is needed in nearly every sector, people who can work with data are able to find employment in a variety of settings, including business, finance, trade, agriculture, and healthcare. And so one of the items that are driving the focus on data, as well as the demand for those who can work with data, is due to the fact that data are being generated, again, at a massive scale through a variety of sources, such as social media, public and government, business and transactional, mobile and sensor data. And all this data generation has led to tremendous growth in the availability, which is need to be organized, described, managed, curated, and ultimately analyzed to be able to make decisions from it. So as you can see here, the expected growth in data is tremendous. By 2025, there will be 175 zettabytes of data, which is approximately 1 billion terabytes, which is approximately the storage of about 1 billion computers. So on top of companies creating and consuming data, we're also constantly creating and consuming data. So for example, there are more than 3.7 billion humans who use the internet. And on an average, Google processes more than 40,000 searches every second and 3.5 billion searches per day. And that's just Google. If we include all the search engines, there are approximately 5 billion searches per day. If we look at social media, Snapchat users share approximately 530,000 photos, and more than 120 professionals join LinkedIn per day. And there are approximately 146,000 tweets or X sent over X every minute. Now, if we think about communication, people send about 6 million texts and about 156 emails every minute. And there are approximately 2.9 billion email users in 2019. And lastly, with regards to services, there are 18 million of forecast requests on weather.com, 45,000 Uber trips, and about 600 new pages edited on Wikipedia every minute. Now, the reason to look at this is all this creates data in some way, whether it's a search log coming from searches or new pictures on the internet or emails in our inbox. It all creates new data for us to consume or for organizations to consume in some way. And if we just take a few minutes to look at this last picture that talks about the amount of data that's being generated. So if we take a few minutes to look at this, we can see how much data is created every minute. And this was way back in 2017 and doesn't include some of the newer social media websites such as TikTok, or even technologies such as virtual reality or augmented reality. Or now that we're all using virtual meetings or Zoom meetings, and that data is not included in this photo here. So all that being said, all of this data being created has some incredible real-world applications and uses. So for example, the transportation industry uses data to help enhance the driving experience and the safety of passengers. So companies like Uber and Lyft use data to help predict traffic patterns, availability of transportation, and customer needs. E-commerce uses data to recommend products and analyze reviews, and banking uses data to detect fraud. In manufacturing, industries can monitor their energy costs so that they can improve their carbon footprint. And data, of course, we use to help understand the patterns in COVID spread, as well as the creation of new vaccines, and understand the continual study of the virus variants. So as you can see here, data work is incredibly useful in nearly every field, which is one of the reasons why it is such an important field to get into at this moment in time. So if you think about what is data science, the term data science has actually been in use since the early 1960s and early 1970s, when several computer science professionals used the term to describe data analytics and statistical techniques. However, even though it was used back then, the term really became popularized in the early 2010s when major newspapers started creating news stories regarding this workforce demand for data scientists. And this is when it really started to gain popularity as far as job opportunities and as far as needs of companies and organizations. Data science does require an unusual set of skills. This traditional Venn diagram was created by a scholar named Conway, introduces Kadwe introduced this to show that data scientists need some skills from computer science, math, and statistics, as well as domain expertise. This diagram here, which is from a Medium article, updates that traditional diagram by including various adjacent fields such as machine learning and data analysis, and kind of shows where those adjacent fields fit into the world of data science. However, this is a very simplified version of the skills needed to work with data. And therefore, we would need to look at other data life cycles to truly understand what data work is. So data-related skills are often shown in what are called data life cycles. Data life cycles indicate what happens to data throughout its lifetime and what data scientists need to do with that data to move them along the data life cycle for whatever final outcome is for the data. Ultimately, these life cycles provide a way to understand what happens to the data as it's being used and what skills are needed to work with data. There are many data life cycles, and the data life cycle that you use will really depend on the question that you're trying to answer, as well as the user group that you're working with. And in many ways, the planning part of the data lifecycle determines how you'll move throughout the process. Courses in the data science program at Indianapolis were purposefully created to ensure that they give you opportunities to work at every stage of the data lifecycle. And the above here, these two diagrams show two of the most well-known data lifecycle models. However, there are many others. And in many ways, when people think about data science, they really think about analyzing data analysis, modeling, and interpretation. However, a lot of items need to happen before you get to that point in order to make sure that your analysis, modeling, and interpretation is correct. So basically, these are the major data skill sets. And again, sorry, my cat might be on screen right now, but he's trying to become part of the show here. So, so these are during the planning steps, you really have to think about, how are the data being compiled, managed, and made accessible? Who are the users of the final products? And what is the long-term plan for the data? Is this one project, or is this many projects? You'll definitely need to go through a collection and obtaining process. So data are often gathered through sensors or instruments or other experiments. Data are gathered through using APIs or web scraping tools or through publicly available open data. And then you have to integrate that data. So data from disparate sources are combined together to form one set or different sets of data so that you can start analyzing that data later. At some point, you have to go through quality checking of your data through data integrity checks or other inspections. And this step is vital to determine the next step, because when you're doing these data integrity checks, you determine if there needs to be any data scrubbing. So data scrubbing is really the removing of any missing data, extraneous data, updating any inconsistent data, labeling, spelling, or other structural inconsistencies of the data. Then you move on to describing your data, where you describe it using the appropriate metadata and standards. And this particular step is really important when it comes to data reusability, because if you don't understand, if you can't describe what that data is saying, then a person who's trying to use it won't be able to use it because they won't understand what it means. You could go through a process of submitting your data for some long-term archives through a data center or data archive or cloud archive. And this is if you would like to preserve your data. And then that is when you get to the final step of analyzing, modeling, interpreting. And so you usually go through some sort of exploratory data analysis, some sort of statistical analysis, and other related data methods. So it's interesting with data science. I find that so many people think that data science is really about this last step of analyzing, modeling, interpreting, but there's all these steps that happen before you even get there. And so going along with that, there's a short video that we'll watch, and it's really about, what a day in the life of a data scientist is. And I'm going to go ahead and hit play, and please let me know if you can't hear it.
Are you one of the many who dreams of becoming a data scientist? Keep watching this video if you're passionate about data science, because we will tell you how does it really work under the hood. Emma is a data scientist. Let's see how a day in her life goes while she's working on a data science project. Well, it is very important to understand the business problem first. In our meeting with the clients, Emma asks relevant questions, understands and defines objectives for the problem that needs to be tackled. She's a curious soul who asks a lot of whys, one of the many traits of a good data scientist. Now, she gears up for data acquisition to gather and scrape data from multiple sources like web servers, logs, databases, APIs, and online repositories. Oh, it seems like finding the right data takes both time and effort. After the data is gathered comes data preparation. This step involves data cleaning and data transformation. Data cleaning is the most time-consuming process as it involves handling many complex scenarios. Here, Emma deals with inconsistent data types, misspelled attributes, missing values, duplicate values, and whatnot. Then, in data transformation, she modifies the data based on defined mapping rules. In her project, ETL tools like Talent and Informatica are used to perform complex transformations that helps the team to understand the data structure better. Then understanding what you actually can do with your data is very crucial. For that, Emma does exploratory data analysis. With the help of EDA, she defines and refines the selection of feature variables that will be used in the model development. But what if Emma skips this step? She might end up choosing the wrong variables, which will produce an inaccurate model. Thus, exploratory data analysis becomes the most important step. Now, she proceeds to the core activity of a data science project, which is data modeling. She repetitively applies diverse machine learning techniques like KNN, decision tree, naive Bayes to the data to identify the model that best fits the business requirement. She trains the models on the training dataset and tests them to select the best performing model. Emma prefers Python for modeling the data. However, it can also be done using R and SAS. Well, the trickiest part is not yet over: visualization and communication. Emma meets the clients again to communicate the business findings in a simple and effective manner to convince the stakeholders. She uses tools like Tableau, Power BI, and ClickView that can help her in creating powerful reports and dashboards. And then finally, she deploys and maintains the model. She tests the selected model in a pre-production environment before deploying it in the production environment, which is the best practice, right? After successfully deploying it, she uses reports and dashboards to get real-time analytics. Further, she also monitors and maintains the project's performance. Well, that's how Emma completes the data science project. We have seen the daily routine of a data scientist is a whole lot of fun, has a lot of interesting aspects, and comes with its own share of challenges. Now, let's see how data science is changing the world. Data science techniques, along with genomic data, provides a deeper understanding of genetic issues in reaction to particular drugs and diseases. Logistic companies like DHL, FedEx have discovered the best routes to ship, the best suited time to deliver, the best mode of transport to choose, thus leading to cost efficiency. With data science, it is possible to not only predict employee attrition, but to also understand the key variables that influence employee turnover. Also, the airline companies can now easily predict flight delay and notify the passengers beforehand to enhance their travel experience. Well, if you're wondering, there are various roles offered to a data scientist, like data analyst, machine learning engineer, deep learning engineer, data engineer, and of course, data scientist. The median base salaries of a data scientist can range from $95,000 to $165,000. So that was about the data science. Are you ready to be a data scientist? If yes, then start today. The world of data needs you. That's all from my side today. Thank you for watching. Comment below the next topic that you want to learn and subscribe to Simply Learn to get the latest updates on more such interesting videos. Thank you and keep learning.
So what I really like about that particular video is it shows how much goes into getting to that place where you analyze and understand the data. There's a lot of conversations that need to happen with whoever your clients are, whoever you're working with. And you really need to understand the questions that you're trying to answer with that data in order to really get to that point that you can analyze and model the data. Another thing I really like about this particular video is it shows the applications of data science, because pretty much, and as I was talking earlier, there's data science is needed in every field. And so you could take something that you're interested in, let's say you're also interested in healthcare, you can take data science and apply that to healthcare. Let's say you're also interested in science, the way I am. I can merge my interest in working with data and working as a scientist together to answer some really important scientific questions. So the great thing about working with data is that you not only see how it can really solve all these interesting real world problems, you can take it and apply it to nearly any field. So going on, sorry. Okay. So how we do this is that you'll learn a lot of different data science methods and techniques. And you already heard a little bit about exploratory data analysis, which really helps you create a summary of data to help you understand the general characteristics of that data. You can use predictive modeling, which uses data to help make future forecasts. You can use machine learning, which uses data to help you identify patterns in data. You can use deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning where you use a computer learns large amounts or uses large amounts of data to learn from that data. And then you can also use natural language processing, which uses data to understand text patterns, to understand patterns in text. In order to do this, there are a lot of data science tools, and you've heard, I'm sure, of Python and R and all of these other tools. And the thing about tools is that they change over time. And there's this really interesting visualization here that shows how these tools have changed over time. And what's important to think about that is in our classes, you'll not only learn these tools, but you'll also learn behind the tools, why these tools are important, and some general understanding so that you can take what you learn from one tool and apply it to a different tool. So we're just going to take a look at this. It's just showing change over time. And I find it really interesting to see that this is how quickly things have changed. So that's 2000, and SPSS is still at the very top. And you can see MATLAB coming up. You can see SAS up there. And then Excel is coming up too. And you can see it's just kind of all of these are moving around. And it's important to consider this when you're learning a new tool, because in 10 years, the tools will be different. And so what you want to take is you want to take the fundamentals of learning a different programming language that you can apply to other programming languages. So you'll see this moving around a lot. And it's pretty fascinating how Excel continues to stay up there, even though it's, doesn't really seem like it would be that advanced, but it's definitely something that people still use. And R basically takes over in the 2010s. RapidMiner starts coming up, and you'll see Python has started to move up. And as Excel, again, is still up there. And we're getting into the last few years. Hadoop comes up, RapidMiner starts going down, and then you see Python start overtaking R. And again, what's really important to consider here is that tools change over time, but it's those fundamental aspects of the tools that you learn in our classes that you'll be able to apply even when a new tool comes up. And it's something sometimes people get caught up on different programming languages, but you'll learn several in our classes. And moving along, oops, sorry. So there's a huge, sorry, that started over. Okay. So given the amount of data that's being created and consumed and the variety of ways that you can use data to answer questions and to help make organizations help make decisions, and the demand for workers with data science skills is just incredibly high. And so if we think about this, for instance, in 2020, Glassdoor, a job searching site, stated that data science was the third most desired job in the United States. And in 2019, it was the first most desired. In 2019, LinkedIn named data scientists the most promising job in the US, and the job satisfaction scores as a data scientist is incredibly high. So along with it being a desirable job, data scientists report such a very high job satisfaction and a very high potential for career advancement. So along with good salaries, people with good data skills seem to have a lot of opportunities to work in pretty much any sector that they want to work into and be satisfied with their job. So given all that, it's important to think about, maybe that this is where you'd want to go in the future. I can't say enough about working with data. I found it so satisfying to be able to work with data. So I'm gonna start discussing the data science opportunities at the Luddy School of Informatics and Computing Engineering. And so we'll start with why study data science at Luddy. So the data-related programs at Luddy were created to prepare you for a data-intensive career and provide you with the skills for working with data at every stage of the data lifecycle. You'll learn to create data, you'll learn to collect data, you'll learn to scrub and manipulate data, curate and preserve data, analyze and visualize data, and interpret and communicate with data. Now, there are various data-related programs. So we have a major. The undergraduate major is the Bachelor of Science in Data Science. It has 2 specializations that you choose from when you declare that major. The specializations are data science and information science, and I'll get into what those mean. We also have minors and certificates. So if you're not wanting to go for a full major, you have this option of getting a minor or a certificate in applied data science or a minor or certificate in applied information science, or sometimes called data studies. And then we also have these 4+1 accelerated programs, and that is where you can get a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in 5 years. And I would highly suggest considering these because they make you very marketable, and you also save time and money by going through your bachelor's and your master's in 5 years. So we have a Bachelor of Science in Data Science plus the Master of Science in Applied Data Science accelerated program. And then we have the Bachelor of Science in Data Science plus the Master's in Library and Information Science accelerated program. So those are all the data-related programs we have. And then I'm going to use these next few slides to kind of go through what each of these mean. So for the undergraduate specializations, again, we have these 2 specializations. The data science specialization for the undergraduate major, it really focuses on math and technical skills to analyze complex data sets and solve real-world problems. You study analytics, cloud computing, you learn to design algorithms, you learn to make decisions effectively by using big data insights. The difference between that and the information science specialization, information sciences specialization focuses more on developing skills to organize, access, and manage data sets. You study data curation and management, data archives, and data organization, and you focus a little bit more on societal impacts of data work. Now, with both specializations, again, you'll learn to collect, describe, manipulate, curate, analyze, visualize, and represent and interpret data. So for both specializations, here are just an idea of the courses that you'll take. The first course you'll take is the Foundations of Data Studies. It will really give you the sort of foundational skills that help you through the upper level classes. Data organization, you really start talking about metadata and how to organize data. Data fluency is when you'll start getting into working more on data science projects. You'll use some R and some Python, so you'll use some more data analytics techniques. Data policy and governance, this is more of a policy class to look at the legal aspects of data, to look at governance aspects of data. Data curation and management, you'll start getting more into how to manage data throughout its entire life cycle. And then you'll take some intro to programming classes, which are intro to programming in Python, but also, again, basic algorithms and such. You'll also take visualizing information, where you'll learn specific visualization techniques, and also data and web mining, where you'll learn how to scrape data from the internet and other ways of scraping and mining data. So again, some more discussing the differences in the specializations. So data science, you will learn some more intensive data science methods. So for example, in the data science specialization, you'll take classes like applied cloud computing, deep learning neural networks, and natural language processing. Well, if you choose the information science specialization, these are more, these first two, data and society and surveillance studies, talk more about the ethical implications of data, societal impacts of data. And data archives talks more about the long-term archives of data. For the differences between the analytical reasoning requirements, if you're in the data science specialization, you'll have to take several more math classes. So as you'll see here, for the data science specialization, you'll need college algebra, trigonometry, calculus 1 and 2, linear algebra, and biostatistics. While in the information science specialization, you'll take college algebra and biostatistics. You won't have to take calculus or linear algebra for the information science specialization. For both specializations, you will learn some very specific technical skills. You'll learn about database design, you'll learn data analytics, you'll learn statistical analytics, data visualization, and data mining. And you'll use these specific programming languages. So you will learn PHP, SQL, JSON, R, Python, and Tableau. And this, again, is for both specializations. There's also, again, there's data-related minor and certificates available at Luddy. So this is for people who may not want to go into the full bachelor's, but you still want to maybe have a minor in one of the data-related programs. So we have an applied data science 24 credit hour minor or certificate that you could do, and we also have the applied information science, which is an 18 credit hour minor certificate. Both of these are fully available online. So this is one nice thing about them, is you could take these classes fully online. They do have a couple of synchronous labs where you would have to meet online with your instructor or with a TA, but all the other classes are again fully available online. As far as our Luddy Career Services, we have an excellent career services team who helps you search for a job, assemble a portfolio, pursue internships, and connect with employers. And also part of the Bachelor of Science and Data Science requirements are for you to complete a capstone. So all students will complete a capstone in the form of an internship, a research project, a thesis, or some other capstone project. And these really help build your portfolio. So the career opportunities are, again, they're vast. There's so many great opportunities out there. You could go into as a data scientist, a data analyst, data engineer, a data curator, or a data project manager. And again, it's a really exciting and fast growing and one of the most high demand professions at this moment. So yeah, definitely would be a fantastic way to start your undergraduate education. So again, thank you all, and we hope to see you in one of our data programs. And from this, I will hand it over to Erica.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us today. I will give a short presentation here on IU Indianapolis, just in general for undergraduate students. So if you give me one moment here. And thank you for keeping up with the chat as well. We do see your comments coming through, so keep them coming. At the end, if you have any specific questions that you want to ask Dr. Murillo, please let us know in the comments. But here is Indiana University, Indianapolis. IU Indianapolis is formerly known as IUPUI, so Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. As of the fall of 2024, we will become IU Indianapolis. So we will still have top programs in STEM, computer science, data science. We're still a premier urban campus with research opportunities right here in the city of Indianapolis, Indiana. Our total student population is around 30,000 students, both domestic and international. We have over 2,000 international students from 142 countries throughout the world. I saw some of you in the chat stating where you're from. So I saw Singapore in there, I saw India. That's very representative of our student body. 75% is the percentage of classes with fewer than 30 students, and our student faculty ratio is 13:1. So we do have some smaller hands-on class sizes, but we also have the more lecture style classes as well, just depending on what you're going to study. Like I said, we have top programs in STEM, health sciences, also our Kelly School of Business, and of course our Luddy School of Informatics, Computing, and Engineering. We also have the only dental school in the state and the nation's largest nursing school and the largest medical school in the country. And we're also home to Biohealth Informatics Research Center, Integrated Bioinstitute, and more. So plenty of research opportunities here with your professors and also internships within the city. Our international student services staff is phenomenal. We have professional staff that provide support throughout your degree program, not just as soon as you arrive to campus. We also have a comprehensive orientation and welcome services, assistance with cultural and educational adjustment, a fantastic peer mentoring group for all students. These are students that have been at IUPUI for at least 2 years, both undergraduate and graduate, that will greet you when you arrive. They'll help show you around, answer any questions that you have about campus or the city as well. And then group activities and programs to help you get to know each other and learn more about the city and campus. IU Indianapolis is a place where the city of Indianapolis is part of the learning experience. One of our peer mentors of the year from last year is from Malaysia. One of his favorite parts of coming to IUPUI and coming to Indianapolis, Indiana, he says, is its diversity, and I completely agree. We're such a welcoming city and a welcoming campus for everyone. Indianapolis is also known as Indy to locals, if you've heard that term before. We are known as the crossroads of America. So we're located right in the Midwest, about 2 or 3 hours south of Chicago is the next biggest city that we like to refer to. It's very easy to get to different destinations around the US with our Indianapolis airport, which has been ranked continuously the top airport in the United States for several years in a row. We are also the capital city and economic center of the state of Indiana. And we have a thriving economy with accessible internship and career opportunities just because of our location, right? We are only 15 minutes walk from the center of the city. It's a safe, clean, and affordable area to live in. We have all kinds of things going on. So our major sports are going to be the NBA, NFL, the Indy 500 race every May, Indy 11 soccer or football stadium as well. just next year, we're also going to be hosting the Olympic swimming trials in our football stadium, which will be very exciting. And we do have an enormous soccer football stadium in progress of being built just minutes off of our campus too. Activities around the area, we have a symphony, museum, zoo, bike paths, and restaurants. So it's not just city life either. We have lots of nature to explore just right in your backyard when you come to Indianapolis. And all 4 North American seasons, of course. So you will see snow in the winter. Fall is very beautiful with the changing of the leaves, spring, and then summer as well. Our estimated costs for the 2023-2024 are currently at $51,339. Our application deadlines is November 1st for the Honors College. This is a college that offers competitive scholarships. So you will want to apply early in order to be considered for those. Our absolute deadline would be May 1st for undergraduate students. And then we do have scholarships available if you are able to scan that QR code that will lead you to our scholarship website to learn more. And undergraduate and graduate programs are also offered. This presentation is mostly about undergraduate, but there are some accelerated programs that you can take if you already know that you want to be a master in something. So we have some 4+1 programs that you can take. Again, make sure to go to our website and review those different programs that offer that special program to do an accelerated bachelor's and master's in only 5 years. We have 15 degree granting schools, more than 400 academic programs combined. Again, we're the only university in the state that has medical, dental, nursing, and law schools all on one campus. Over 250 graduate degrees, and anywhere from the STEM fields, the business, the law, again, and health sciences, of course, is a very important one. In addition, graduate programs are going to be a little bit different for applying to if you are interested and are at that level to start applying for. It will depend on the department, so please reach out to your department to learn more about application deadlines, any scholarships and funding that they have available, and what you need to apply. For undergraduate application, you'll need to submit the online application, Common App, or through our website at Apply IU. Official academic records, so your transcripts, TOEFL or IELTS results, or you can also submit your SAT or ACT scores. This is only optional, but it can be used to show English proficiency. After that, you'll need to show financial documentation as well, and a bank statement documenting your ability to pay for the first year. Applications are now open for fall of 2024. So go ahead and start applying now, especially if you feel inclined to apply for the data science program that we have. And again, the May 1st deadline is the absolute deadline, but if you get your applications in early, you could be considered for those competitive scholarships. By the numbers, over the past few years, we've had 450 plus Kelley School of Business internships. 88% of the Luddy School of Informatics, Computing, and Engineering is the employment rate upon graduation. We're number 4 in the US cities for high-tech job growth, and we're top 10% in the world on delivering for the Sustainable Development Goals, which we're very proud of at our university. That is the end of my presentation. This QR code here will link you to our link tree, and we will have links to our social media and our website and any updates that come through on programs offered, scholarships offered. So be sure to connect with us, and I'll connect you back with Dr. Murillo for any questions that you have at this point. Thank you. And we're still monitoring the chat here, so please, if you have any other questions. I'm reading all the comments here, and you're welcome for this session. I hope you got a lot out of it. Of course, you will get your certificate after this as well.
Just want to jump in and thank you for coming today. And oh, I'm echoing.
It's not too bad.
Okay. So I just wanted to thank everyone for coming today. And yeah, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. And I hope to see you in some of my classes.
I see a few questions coming through about English proficiency. A-levels can count for English proficiency as well, as long as you score high enough in those. Angela, we have a question coming here. I have taken A-level mechanics, so should I continue that or should I take probability and statistics? I'm assuming if this is you wanting to pursue data science for the student that wrote that.
I would say that probability and statistics would be more relevant to data science than mechanics would be.
For the questions about the certificates, they will go out within the next couple of days, so check your email for those. Another question about A-level mechanics or probability for Dr. Murillo. I'm assuming probability for this one.
Yeah, I would say I can't see the question, but I would say that probability and statistics would definitely be more geared towards data science than mechanics would be. But at the same time, you'll receive these when you start. You'll learn about probability and statistics in our classes. So, I mean, taking those before you come here will definitely just make sure that you have some background information, but you'll learn them again and probably at a more advanced level too.
Another question from earlier. Some people were wondering about job opportunities, career options. Can you elaborate more on that, Dr. Murillo?
So honestly, the job opportunities are pretty vast. Something that I really hope that came across to my presentation is that nearly every business or organization, nearly every field needs someone who can work with data. And so something that I find that with graduating students is that maybe they already have an interest in a specific area and they're like, oh, well, I can take that and use data science in that field. So they're able to connect, for example, two fields. So I had, for example, a student that was interested in healthcare and data. And so when she graduated, she was able to find a job that connected those two fields. I had another student who was interested in environmental science and data. And so when he graduated, he was able to connect those two fields. I had another student who was interested in sports analytics and data. And so when he graduated, he was able to connect those two fields. So the point is that, you can take your own personal interests and use your data science skill sets and apply those to your specific interests, which makes it so that the jobs, you can really gear it towards something that you find personally interesting and personally satisfying. Since there's so many job opportunities, it's really hard to go wrong. Honestly, you'll find something of interest to you. There's definitely opportunities out there.
A question related to careers. What is the starter salary for data science? Does it have higher than the average in these types of fields?
It depends on where you're at, and it depends on where you're located geographically. So 86, 95, over 100,000. And it also depends on your skill sets. So there's definitely a range. I think on the website we have 86 as the, let me look at the website real quick, but there's a range. Let's see what we have on the website.
Yeah, I see Taylor posted in the chat here that it starts at 86. So
yeah, but it also depends on where you're located. So if you're located in the Midwest, or if you're located on one of the coasts or in a major city, that's going to make the difference. It's also going to make a difference on the skill sets that you have going in. So there's anyway between 80s and 100,000s easily. And especially if you go for the 4+1 program, the accelerated program, you'll increase your salary significantly.
Another question here. Can data science be seen in astronomical fields like NASA and SpaceX?
Yes, very much so. I work, the majority of what I do is the intersection of science and data science. And I work with a lot of astronomers. I work with, I work with a lot of the major observatories in the United States and abroad. And so everything from people who worked at Arecibo in Puerto Rico. I work with CERN. The Large Hadron Collider. I'm going to put a website in the chat for the person who asked that question, and that just will kind of give you an idea of the type of work that can be done at the intersection of science and data science. So here's one of my major projects, and I'm just going to put intersection. Okay, so hopefully, I don't know if people can see it. I don't know if that's in the right chat. Can everyone see that?
Perfect, yes.
Okay.
For everyone asking about SAT scores, again, it's not required for admission. It's only optional to submit it. For competitive scholarships, you will need to submit your SAT score. So do go on to our Honors College website and learn more about what's required for your SAT score there. We will also share your emails with the Luddy School of Informatics, Computing, and Engineering after this webinar as well. So you will get a follow-up email from them helping you to learn more about the school and the programs offered. So just keep that in mind as well. Does your college provide any online certificate courses in data science, Dr. Murillo?
Yes, both the applied data science and the applied information science minors and certificates are fully online. And I'm going to put a link to them in the chat. They're both fully online. You do have to take a synchronous lab, meaning that you'll have to be there with other people. So here's the one for the Applied Data Science certificate. And then here is the one for the Applied Information Science certificate. And they're both, again, fully online. And financial aid eligible too.
We'll keep the chat open for a few more minutes here. So any last questions, do ask them now. One question coming through here is, what is the hardest part of data science?
That's such an interesting question. I think one thing that I see is that a lot of people, when they first started working with data, want to jump immediately to analyzing the data and visualizing the data. And there's so many steps that happen before that. And so because I mean, frankly, the data analysis is the fun part, but there's so many things you have to do with your data, from cleaning it to organizing it to making sure that you understand it before you get to that analysis point. And I think that that's probably the hardest part, is to kind of hold yourself back and make sure that you're really seeing your data for what it is before jumping into the analysis part.
We also keep getting a few questions here about what do we have to study for admission? So I'm assuming their questions more so along the lines of, in high school, what should they focus on if they know they want to pursue data science?
There are no prerequisites. And so there's things that you can do to make yourself, to kind of, put yourself ahead. So, if you have a chance to study calculus, I would suggest studying it. I would suggest studying statistics, any sort of introduction to programming. That would be helpful. And I think that, but again, there aren't any prerequisites, so you don't have to do these things before you come here. It would just be helpful. It would make it so that you were a little ahead, if that makes sense.
Perfect. Yeah. So for general admission to undergraduate at Indiana University in Indianapolis, it's a fairly holistic review. So we look at the courses you've studied, what you want to pursue as a major, your grade point average converted to US standards, and then English proficiency as well. So it's only those certain few things. You can submit an essay if you would like as well, but it's not required. So that's for any program. Like Dr. Murillo said, though, if you do take courses in some of the ones that she mentioned, calculus, statistics, that will look better on your application, but it's not required at all. An interesting question that came through is, on average, how long does it take to collect the data, and are there any sites which help with data cleaning?
So that is going to depend on the project. That's a really interesting question. It will depend on the project itself that you're working on. And so I would say that, there probably is no average. if you're working, and I'm trying to think of some good examples. Like if there's government data that's easily accessible online and fairly clean. And if you're wanting just to work with a couple of those data sets and do something with that, it's already curated, it's already cleaned. You would just download it, make sure that it's what you're looking for, and then you can, work right away on it. And there's other situations where, for example, if you're getting a lot of data from like a sensor, or for example, we have like ocean buoys. We have buoys in the ocean that are collecting sensor data all the time. Like sometimes that comes in with noise, and so you have to do a lot of pre-processing before you can actually start working with the data. And so again, it's really dependent on the project. Some you can just jump right in, and some it will will take more pre-processing time.
There's also an earlier chat message here that says, could you please give a short note on how to pursue a career in data science? I would just like to go ahead and start and say, at least at our university, one of the best ways to begin your career outlook, career preparation is research or internship opportunities. With us being located right downtown, it's very accessible to land an internship. We have career fairs that we host on campus as well, bringing in different companies to our campus to recruit students. And also research opportunities. You can land a research opportunity with your professor, even within the first year of study. So Dr. Murillo, do you want to expand on career preparation and maybe some research opportunities as well?
So something that's really wonderful about the programs at Luddy is that the capstone is a requirement in the program. So you have to do an internship or do a capstone project or a research project. And so it's integrated into the curriculum. And this really helps it so that you have have time with potential employers, that you are starting to make those connections and making your network. Also, a lot of our classes bring in, since we're in downtown Indianapolis and we have so many connections with companies in the area, many professors bring in experts from these companies into the classroom. And so you start having those interactions through your classes, through your career fairs, through other networking opportunities that we provide. And just really getting to know people and building that network is a great way to make sure that once you graduate, you'll know what's available out there. You'll have job opportunities available for you. As far as research, everything from being that we have internships and some fellowships through various professors, and we have research opportunities where professors will put you on research projects. And so then you'll learn not only how to do research from more of an academic perspective, but you'll also really be able to spend some time understanding how to work with data. And that again opens up other opportunities for you, and you can put those on your resume. It will help you build skills, and it will make sure that you'll have those skills built, so when you apply for jobs, you'll have a good portfolio. The career services is integrated throughout the program, and so that's one great thing about Luddy, is that we have a nice career services staff, and who can help you with all building resumes and all the networking events that you could need in order to make sure that you're ready to go into the workforce when you graduate.
Thank you. All right, I think we are going to end the webinar now. Again, thank you all for joining us. Please stay in contact with us. Our email is iupui@iupui.edu. And again, this QR code here takes you to our link tree to continue conversations in social media or online. or an email. You will be receiving those certificates within the next few days, so please do check your inboxes for that. And you will receive further communications from the Luddy School of Informatics, Computing, and Engineering here as well. Thank you, Dr. Angela Murillo, for joining us today. It was a great session, and thank you all. Have a great afternoon or morning wherever you are.